Sure. Good morning, Jason. And once again, thank you to you and Channel 14 for having me on and being able to share some information with your listeners and yourself. And I guess this last week, one of the biggest news items has been masks. And there was 4 additional communities that voted to require masks in certain settings last week, and one was Racine. Racine did it by 1 vote majority on their city council, and also Green Bay, Whitewater, and Superior also did the same. They joined Madison and Milwaukee in that. And also just yesterday, the Governor Evers was questioned about a statewide policy, and he said that they're certainly still looking at that, and reiterated that if he thought that it was possible to do it without it being overridden by either the state Supreme Court or by the Republican-controlled legislature, that he would do it, but he was certainly still studying the issue. So, and I think that the reason why he's still studying it is because our numbers are still certainly not where they need to be. Yesterday, in fact, we had the second to worst day of new cases, over 1,052 new cases, and that's a pretty alarming number. And the daily average now for has been 896 for the last week, compared to a week ago at 817. And statewide, 878 people have now died in Kenosha. 49 people have died, and so we are a long ways from tackling this virus, and we all know just the amazing numbers that we're seeing in Florida and Texas, and some of those healthcare systems being overrun by the virus. And certainly there's a lot of concern that with the flu season only a couple months away, that this will complicate matters, because the hospitals normally fill up during the flu season, and to complicate it with COVID is certainly problematic. So a lot of people are suggesting that people get their flu shots early, so when you start seeing them around town, you might want to consider doing that. I'd like to announce that there's going to be some additional testing going on Tuesday, August 4th through August 7th. There will be testing where no appointment or no symptoms are necessary. That's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Brass Community School. And I'd like to thank the Wisconsin National Guard and also the Kenosha County Division of Health for setting that up. And that's for anybody who lives in Wisconsin or works in Wisconsin from the age 5 and up. So if you're curious about your situation, I would encourage you to go over to Brass School August 4th through the 7th and get yourself tested, and that's, of course, free as well. There's been a lot of question about why the federal government has not really been ramping up the Defense Production Act to make sure that we have enough PPE going into the fall, and that certainly could be problematic. So hopefully that gets taken care of. One of the things that has also been kind of in the news this last week is the question of whether or not schools should reopen or not open in a normal manner. And there's been a lot of different ways that schools have decided to open. And Racine just joined Milwaukee, I believe, but Racine will be starting virtual only to begin with now. Kenosha seems like they're still studying. It seems like there will be kind of a hybrid in Kenosha where there will be some, in school and also some virtual schooling going on. So, still kind of a moving target in Kenosha. I know that there was, I think, a half a dozen different WEAC unions that have petitioned the governor to not start up, on a normal basis at this point. So kind of have to hold on, and we'll see what happens in the next week on that issue. But the question is obviously everybody wants to go back to school on a regular basis, but we have to make sure that we're doing that in a safe area. And there's certainly in some of the districts where, that are experiencing spikes in their levels, it may make sense to hold off a bit. So, and of course, I think yesterday was the first baseball that's been played since the COVID, and Dr. Fauci threw out the first pitch, and he has recently been experiencing death threats apparently to him and his family, and so it was interesting to see that he threw out the first pitch, and we'll see whether or not the baseball can get through their new 60-game series. And I know that a lot of people are looking forward to having sports back in their lives, and this will certainly be different than what we're used to. I know that, and I usually mention this somewhere along the line, and I guess I will this week as well. And this is hard on everybody. We know that people are still safer at home, and people are trying to avoid the regular social contact that they have. I know that I love to go out and eat in a restaurant or go to some of my favorite pubs like normal, but these are not normal times, and so I've been trying to make sure that I socially distance, and if I'm in a pub that has any number of people in it, I want to make sure that I have one that's you can step outside, or make sure that the social distancing and masking is in place. So I just want to say that we all know that these are hard times, and that some people are having harder time coping with it. And I just want to make sure that people know that if you're in a crisis situation, either with alcohol or drugs, or just depression, or anything that you might be experiencing, I want to make sure that the crisis hotline is available, and that's at 1-800-985-5990. Once again, 1-800-985-5990. And I also like to remind people that they're more than willing to call me at 608-266-0455. If you're having a problem with unemployment, that we can try to be helpful with. We've certainly been able to do that for a lot of different constituents. So we know that has been problematic. So feel free to give us a call if it's about unemployment, or if it's about any state-related issue, or if you just want to talk. Our staff is there to help with problems you might have. So don't hesitate to give us a call. And once again, Jason, thanks for having me on, and I'm sure that we'll figure out something to talk about next week again. So just like to encourage everybody to make sure to do all those things that we know that are important. Wash your hands, socially distance, wear a mask if you're outside. A lot of places began mandating masks this week, including Pick and Save and Walmart, and a lot of other different commercial places. And they're doing that for a reason, because they know that it works, that it's successful, and this is one way that we can actually keep our numbers down. And if we keep our numbers down, that just means that our schools can reopen, and it means that businesses, don't have to, that people don't have to worry about going out to businesses as much as they do now. So, wear a mask. Wear a mask, if not for yourself, for your friends and your family. Wash your hands and keep your hands off your face, and do all those things that we've heard. Wipe down, surfaces, and do all those things that we know that are important in terms of stopping the spread. So once again, Jason, thanks again, and we'll talk to you next week.